Q1KJ paced the muddy streets of Lumbridge. The air was thick with the scent of manure and ale. It was a town of simple folk, content with their lives of toil and harvest. But Q1KJ was different. He yearned for adventure. He craved glory. Tales of a fearsome dragon had reached his ears. Elvarg, they called her. She terrorized the island of Crandor, her fiery breath scorching the land, and her razor-sharp claws tearing through ships like paper. Many brave warriors had attempted to defeat her, but none had returned. Q1KJ felt a fire ignite within him. This was the challenge he had been waiting for. He would be the one to slay Elvarg and free the land from her tyranny. The townsfolk scoffed at his ambition, calling him reckless and foolish. But their words only fueled his determination. He would prove them wrong. He would become a legend. Q1KJ knew he couldn't face Elvarg unprepared. He needed guidance, equipment, a plan. There was only one place to start, the Champions Guild, home to the bravest warriors in the land. With a determined glint in his eye, Q1KJ set off. He was ready to embark on his destiny. The Champions Guild stood apart from the rest of Lumbridge's humble buildings. It was a testament to strength and courage, built from dark stone and adorned with the weapons of fallen heroes. Q1KJ pushed open the heavy oak doors and stepped inside. The air was thick with the clang of steel on steel. Warriors sparred in the center of the hall, their grunts and shouts echoing off the high vaulted ceilings. Q1KJ felt a surge of excitement. This was where he belonged. He approached the wizened figure seated on a throne at the far end of the hall. The Guildmaster, a seasoned warrior with eyes that held the wisdom of countless battles, looked upon Q1KJ with a discerning gaze. Q1KJ explained his ambition to defeat Elvarg, his voice filled with a burning passion. The Guildmaster listened intently, his weathered face betraying no emotion. When Q1KJ finished, the Guildmaster nodded slowly.
Elvarg is a fearsome beast. Many have tried and failed to defeat her. But legend speaks of 3 artifacts that can aid in her defeat.
The Guildmaster leaned forward, his eyes boring into Q1KJ.
The anti-dragon shield forged in the heart of a dying star, capable of deflecting even the hottest dragon fire.
Q1KJ hung onto the Guildmaster's every word, his heart pounding with anticipation.
The second artifact is a map, scattered into 3 pieces, revealing the way to Elvarg's lair.
And the final artifact? Q1KJ asked, his voice trembling with a mixture of excitement and apprehension.
A ship, strong enough to withstand the treacherous journey to Crandor. A ship known as the Lady Lumbridge, now little more than a rotting hull in need of much repair.
The Guildmaster stood, his gaze fixed on Q1KJ.
Find these artifacts, young warrior. Only then will you stand a chance against Elvarg.
Q1KJ bowed his head in acknowledgement. Q1KJ, I will not fail you, Master. He left the Champions Guild with a newfound purpose. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but Q1KJ was determined to succeed. He would find the artifacts, slay Elvarg, and become a legend. His first quest was to find the anti-dragon shield. The Guildmaster had told him it was in the possession of Duke Horatio, a reclusive nobleman who lived in a fortified manor on the outskirts of the kingdom. Q1KJ set off immediately, his journey taking him through dense forests and across treacherous mountain passes. He fought off packs of wild wolves, their fangs bared in ferocious snarls. He outsmarted cunning goblins, their eyes gleaming with mischievous intent. Finally, he reached Duke Horatio's manor, a towering structure of grey stone surrounded by a moat filled with snapping alligators. Q1KJ gained entry by proving his worth in a series of trials, his swordsmanship and quick wit impressing even the stoic guards. He found Duke Horatio in his study, surrounded by ancient tomes and maps. The Duke, a stern man with a hawkish nose and piercing blue eyes, listened patiently as Q1KJ explained his quest.
The anti-dragon shield is a powerful artifact. It is not something I relinquish lightly.
He challenged Q1KJ to a duel, a test of strength and skill. Section 5. Unraveling the map's secrets. Q1KJ, wielding his trusty sword with precision and grace, managed to best the Duke. Impressed by Q1KJ's determination and skill, Duke Horatio presented him with the anti-dragon shield. It was heavier than Q1KJ expected, its cold metal surface radiating an ancient power. With the first artifact in his possession, Q1KJ set his sights on the map pieces. The Guildmaster had informed him of their locations, one hidden deep within Melzar's maze, a labyrinth of twisting corridors and deadly traps, another held by Wormbrain, a monstrous spider that lurked in the depths of Port Sarim's sewers, and the final piece possessed by the ghost of Thalzar, a powerful sorcerer, entombed within the icy caverns of the Asgarnian ice dungeon. Each piece presented its own unique challenge. Q1KJ navigated Melzar's maze with caution, relying on his wits to disarm traps and outsmart the maze's deadly guardians. He faced Wormbrain in a battle that shook the very foundations of Port Sarim, his sword flashing as he dodged the creature's venomous fangs. And he confronted Thalzar's ghost in the chilling depths of the Asgarnian ice dungeon, his courage tested by the sorcerer's spectral magic. After weeks of relentless pursuit, Q1KJ emerged victorious, his hands clutching the 3 map pieces. He could feel their power thrumming with an ancient energy. When pieced together, they formed a complete map, revealing the treacherous sea route to Crandor, and finally, the location of Elvarg's lair. However, one final obstacle remained, securing the Lady Lumbridge. The Lady Lumbridge, once the pride of Lumbridge's harbour, now sat neglected and decaying in a forgotten corner of the docks. Seaweed clung to her rotting hull, and barnacles encrusted her once gleaming mast. Repairing her seemed like an impossible task, but Q1KJ refused to be daunted.
He sought out the help of Clarence, a skilled shipwright known throughout the land for her craftsmanship. She agreed to help, her eyes twinkling with a shared sense of adventure.
Together, they worked tirelessly, ripping out rotten planks, replacing them with sturdy new timber. They mended sails, reinforced the ship's keel, and re-rigged the masts.
Q1KJ even managed to convince Ned, a gruff but experienced sailor, to join their crew.
Finally, after weeks of back-breaking labor, the Lady Lumbridge was ready to sail. She wasn't the most beautiful ship, but she was strong and seaworthy, her sails billowing proudly in the wind. With a heavy heart, Q1KJ bid farewell to Lumbridge, the cheers of the townsfolk ringing in his ears. He knew the journey ahead was fraught with danger, but he was determined to succeed. He had come too far to turn back now. He would face Elvarg and free the land from her tyranny. The journey to Crandor was perilous, even with the map to guide them. Storms raged, threatening to tear the Lady Lumbridge apart. Giant krakens, their tentacles as thick as tree trunks, rose from the depths, their eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. But through it all, Q1KJ remained steadfast, his resolve unwavering. He fought tirelessly alongside his companions, their courage and determination a testament to the human spirit's resilience. They battled their way through every obstacle, their bonds of friendship forged in the crucible of danger. Finally, after weeks at sea, the jagged silhouette of Crandor appeared on the horizon. The island was a desolate wasteland, shrouded in a perpetual twilight. Volcanic peaks spewed molten lava into the sky, painting the clouds in hues of crimson and orange. The air reeked of sulfur and ash, a testament to the dragon's fiery reign. As they drew closer, Q1KJ could feel the heat of Elvarg's presence pressing down on him, a suffocating wave of heat and terror. But he would not be deterred. He had come too far, sacrificed too much. He would face his destiny head-on. Following the map's guidance, they navigated the treacherous coastline, the Lady Lumbridge a tiny speck amidst the towering cliffs and crashing waves. Finally, they reached a hidden cove, shrouded in mist and shadow. The map indicated this was the entrance to Elvarg's lair. Q1KJ, his heart pounding against his ribs, disembarked, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. He could feel the dragon's presence now, a palpable wave of heat and fury. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the confrontation ahead. The path to Elvarg's lair was treacherous, a winding tunnel of jagged rocks and molten lava flows. The air grew hotter with every step, the stench of sulfur almost unbearable. Q1KJ pressed on, his resolve unwavering. Finally, he emerged into a vast cavern, its ceiling lost in shadow. And there, in the center of the cavern, lay Elvarg. Elvarg was even more terrifying than Q1KJ had imagined. Her scales were the color of emeralds, reflecting the molten lava flows that crisscrossed the cavern floor. Her eyes burned with ancient malice, and her breath was a torrent of fire and brimstone. She rose from her slumber, her roar shaking the very foundations of the island. Q1KJ stood his ground, his heart pounding against his ribs. He raised the anti-dragon shield, its cold metal surface deflecting the worst of Elvarg's fiery breath. The battle was long and brutal. Elvarg attacked with a ferocity that belied her size, her claws raking the air, her tail whipping back and forth like a living battering ram. Q1KJ dodged and weaved, his sword flashing as he countered her attacks. He landed blow after blow, his sword finding chinks in Elvarg's armor. The dragon roared in pain and fury, her attacks becoming more desperate. But Q1KJ refused to yield. He fought with the courage of a true hero, his heart filled with the hope of a brighter future. Finally, with a desperate lunge, Q1KJ plunged his sword deep into Elvarg's heart. The dragon let out a deafening roar, a sound that echoed across the island before collapsing to the ground, her body convulsing one last time before falling still. Q1KJ stood over Elvarg's lifeless body, his chest heaving with exhaustion. The air was thick with the smell of burnt flesh and victory. He had done it. He had slain Elvarg. He emerged from the dragon's lair, the anti-dragon shield slung across his back, Elvarg's head held high. The remaining crew of the Lady Lumbridge cheered at the sight, their faces a mixture of awe and relief. The journey back to Lumbridge was a blur. Q1KJ slept for most of it, the exhaustion of the battle finally catching up with him. When he awoke, they were approaching the harbor, the familiar sights and smells of home washing over him like a warm wave. News of his victory had spread like wildfire. The docks were thronged with people, their faces a mixture of disbelief and elation. As Q1KJ stepped ashore, they erupted in cheers, hailing him as a hero. He was paraded through the streets, the townsfolk showering him with flowers and praise. The Guildmaster greeted him with a rare smile, clapping him on the shoulder with a calloused hand.
"You have done what many thought impossible," he said, his voice filled with pride. "You have freed the land from Elvarg's tyranny."
Q1KJ's heart swelled with a sense of accomplishment. He had set out to prove himself, to etch his name in the annals of legend. And he had succeeded beyond his wildest dreams. But more importantly, he had made a difference. He had brought peace and prosperity to Lumbridge. He had given hope to those who had lost it. And in that moment, he realized that true heroism wasn't about fame or glory. It was about using your strength to help others, to make the world a better place. As Q1KJ stood there, basking in the adoration of the crowd, he knew that his journey was far from over. There were other adventures to be had, other challenges to face, but for now, he allowed himself a moment of triumph. He had faced his fears and emerged victorious. He was Q1KJ, the dragon's Bane, and his legend was just beginning.